Imagine lifting your head. For the first time in hours, your eyes meet the horizon instead of a screen, and something profound is about to begin. Your cervical spine, which has been bearing weight it was never designed to carry, finally receives a signal it's been waiting for. The pressure has stopped, and now the real work begins. We've been told tech neck is just stiffness, just the price of modern life. But what if that belief misses something crucial? What if your neck possesses a recovery capability that modern medicine is only beginning to fully understand? The human spine was designed not for endless forward flexion, but for balance, for looking out at the world. What if, hidden within your cervical vertebrae, lies an ancient mechanism for restoration, waiting to be activated? Every inch your head tilts forward adds 10 pounds of pressure to your neck. At 60 degrees, the angle most people hold when texting, your neck carries 60 pounds. The weight of a small child, hour after hour. Your muscles weren't built for this. Your discs weren't designed for this. Your nerves weren't meant to stretch and compress this way thousands of times each day. When you stop looking down, you're not just changing a habit. You're initiating a cascade that reaches into muscle fibers, vertebrae, nerve pathways. So, what actually happens when your neck realizes the weight has lifted? What hidden processes begin in those first crucial hours? The answers are remarkable, and they start almost immediately. The first 6 hours feel strange. Your neck feels stiff, aware of itself in ways it hasn't been. There's an ache, a pulling sensation, and you find yourself constantly noticing where your head sits in space. This is when your body begins registering the change. Muscles that have been locked in isometric contraction for months are receiving different signals. But beneath this surface discomfort, something extraordinary is occurring. Your levator scapulae, your upper trapezius, your sternocleidomastoid, these muscles have been holding 40 to 60 pounds of forward-tilted head weight in static tension. They've been screaming, burning through energy, accumulating micro tears faster than they could heal. Every hour they held that position, inflammation markers built up in the tissue. Now, for the first time, those muscles can release even slightly. The constant isometric load begins to ease. Blood flow, which had been restricted by chronic tension, starts to increase. Oxygen reaches tissue that's been starving for it. The inflammation that has been quietly burning inside your neck begins to shift, subtle at first, but real. This stiffness you feel isn't weakness. It's your body remembering what neutral feels like. Your muscles are confused, recalibrating, adjusting to a baseline they had forgotten existed. And while the symptoms demand attention, the healing operates in silence. Your neck has been screaming. Now it can whisper. Days 2 through 4 bring what? Researchers might call the adaptation phase, though it feels more like a storm. The soreness intensifies. Headaches appear. Strange pulling sensations move through your shoulders. Your neck seems to be protesting the very choice you've made. Yet this turbulence has purpose. Beneath the surface, your muscles are releasing adhesions. When muscles stay contracted for months, fascial tissue begins to glue itself together. Trigger points form, hard knots where muscle fibers can't release. Your body created these adhesions to stabilize what it perceived as permanent stress. Now, without that constant forward load, these adhesions must dissolve. Your muscle spindles, tiny sensory organs embedded in every muscle, are recalibrating. They've been telling your brain that 60-degree forward tilt is normal. Now they're adjusting their sensors, relearning what neutral means. This proprioceptive shift creates disorientation. Blood flow increases to tissue that's been chronically oxygen-starved. Metabolic waste products that accumulated for months begin clearing out. Your body is conducting cellular house cleaning, and the process creates temporary inflammation as it removes debris. You might feel worse before you feel better. And there's wisdom in understanding why. This isn't regression. This is what healing looks like when it's finally allowed to happen. The soreness is real, but underneath these symptoms, reconstruction has begun. Within 1 week, something measurable shifts. Your muscles, which have spent months in distorted patterns, begin reorganizing their fiber architecture. Muscles that were chronically shortened start lengthening. Muscles that were overstretched and weakened start strengthening. This isn't just relaxation. This is fundamental restructuring. Research shows neck extensor strength can improve 15 to 20% in just 1 week when forward head posture is corrected. Range of motion increases by 10 to 15 degrees. These aren't minor adjustments. These are measurable changes in how your muscles generate force and move your spine. The mechanism is elegant. When muscles hold improper positions chronically, they adapt. Sarcomeres, the individual contractile units inside muscle fibers, either add or subtract to match the length the muscle is held at. This process created your forward head posture over months. Now it reverses over weeks. You might notice mornings feel different. Your head sits lighter on your shoulders. That immediate stiffness upon waking has decreased. Energy that was being burned just to hold your head up returns to you. Your neck muscles aren't working overtime anymore. 1 week might seem brief for real change, but at the muscular level, transformation is well underway. Your neck isn't just enduring, it's actively rebuilding, fiber by fiber. If you could X-ray your cervical spine at 2 weeks, you would witness something remarkable. Your vertebrae are shifting. For months, they've been compressed. Anteriorly, pushed forward by the weight of your tilted head. The normal cervical curve, that gentle C-shape called lordosis, has been flattening. Now, degree by degree, it begins restoring. Forward head posture reduces by 5 to 8 millimeters on average within 2 weeks. Every millimeter your head moves back toward center removes pounds of pressure from your spine. The vertebrae, no longer stacked like tilted blocks, begin finding their evolutionary alignment, the position your spine held for millions of years before screens. Your intervertebral discs, those gel-filled cushions between vertebrae, suddenly have space. When muscles compress your spine forward, these discs get squeezed on one side. Pressure that's been constant finally releases. The discs can expand toward their natural shape. This structural shift creates ripple effects. Your jaw tension decreases because your temporomandibular joint is directly affected by neck position. Shoulder rounding improves. Upper back pain reduces because those muscles aren't compensating anymore. These aren't minor adjustments. These are fundamental shifts in skeletal architecture. Your spine has stopped screaming its distress signal. The structure that holds your head is finally remembering how. Perhaps the most extraordinary change reveals itself around week 3. Your nerve roots, those delicate branches that exit your spinal cord between every vertebra, begin to decompress. And when they do, your entire upper body receives a signal it may not have felt clearly in years. 8 pairs of cervical nerves exit your spine between C1 and C7, each one feeding sensation and motor control to your head, neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. When your head tilts forward chronically, these nerve pathways get stretched on one side and compressed on the other. The nerve tissue itself becomes inflamed. Signals that should flow freely start misfiring. Week 3 is when pressure releases. Nerve conduction velocity begins improving. Nerves possess a recovery capability that approaches the miraculous. When compression stops, they can regenerate at roughly 1 millimeter per day. Myelin sheaths rebuild. Inflammation resolves. The pathway between your brain and your body clears. There's another profound change happening simultaneously. The vertebral arteries, major blood vessels that run up through your cervical vertebrae directly to your brain, are no longer kinked. Blood flow increases by 10 to 15%. This ancient pathway connecting brain to body is finally flowing freely again. Not because you've earned it, but because your biology is designed to forgive. Week 3 is when your nervous system stops compensating and starts conducting. Around day 30, you notice something subtle but profound. You're no longer thinking about your posture. Your head isn't constantly falling forward, requiring conscious correction. Something has changed at a level deeper than willpower. Your proprioceptive system has recalibrated. Muscle spindles, those tiny sensors that tell your brain where your body is in space, have been resetting their baseline. Golgi tendon organs, which sense muscle tension, have adjusted their thresholds. Together, these sensors form your body's internal GPS. They've been telling you that forward head posture is normal. Now, they've updated their maps. But the deeper transformation involves muscles you've probably never heard of. Deep cervical flexors, small muscles along the front of your cervical spine, have reactivated. These stabilizer muscles are your neck's core, designed to hold your head in perfect balance with minimal effort. When forward head posture develops, these muscles shut down. 30 days of proper positioning, and they wake up. Your brainstem, which controls automatic postural adjustments, reestablishes its baseline settings. Head balance becomes autopilot again. Before, you needed conscious effort to sit up straight. Now, your body regulates head position without conscious thought. Your neck has downloaded a firmware update, running original programming from millions of years of evolution. This isn't discipline. This is biology remembering its design. Between week 5 and 6, something happens that most people believe is impossible. Your intervertebral discs begin rehydrating. This matters more than almost anything else because these discs have no blood supply. They're avascular, surviving entirely on osmosis. Each disc contains a nucleus pulposus, a gel-like center surrounded by tough rings called the annulus fibrosus. When your head tilts forward chronically, these discs get squeezed like sponges being wrung out. The gel dehydrates, disc height decreases, space for nerve roots shrinks. But when pressure normalizes, discs can rehydrate. The process takes weeks because it relies on osmosis, but it happens. Disc height can increase by 1 to 2 millimeters. 1 millimeter means substantially more space for nerve roots, better shock absorption, reduced friction between vertebrae. Studies measuring disc hydration show 20 to 30% improvement after 6 weeks of postural correction. Your spine is regaining its spring, its cushioning capacity. These discs cannot regenerate like your liver can, but they can restore, rebuild, remember their original architecture. Your spine is drinking water again after months in the desert. The structure that supports your head is being rebuilt from the inside, one disc at a time, molecule by molecule. By week 8, the changes extend far beyond your neck. Your breathing has changed. Cervical posture directly affects respiratory mechanics. When your head protrudes forward, your first rib gets restricted. Your scalene muscles, which lift your rib cage during inhalation, can't function properly. You've been breathing shallowly for months. Now, with proper head position restored, your rib cage expands fully. Lung capacity improves by 15 to 20%. You're taking in more oxygen with every breath. More oxygen means better cellular energy production, clearer thinking, reduced fatigue. Your brain function measurably improves. That 10 to 15% increase in cerebral blood flow compounds with better oxygenation. Research shows 10 to 15% improvement in cognitive tasks requiring sustained attention. The morning mental fog clears. Your vestibular system, the balance mechanism in your inner ear, improves. Head position directly affects inner ear function. Balance improves. A subtle dizziness you may not have recognized disappears. Sleep quality increases because proper cervical alignment improves sleep position. Your airway opens more fully. Deep sleep phases lengthen. What started as lifting your head has become a full-body transformation. Your neck was never isolated. It's the bridge between brain and body. 60 days later, your neck remembers. Your head balances effortlessly atop your spine. Your muscles work as a coordinated team. You no longer need conscious correction. This is your new baseline. Forward head posture has reduced by 50 to 70%. Muscle strength has balanced. Range of motion has restored to near normal. Pain has reduced by 60 to 80%. These are fundamental transformations. Your metabolism has shifted. Muscles no longer locked in constant tension means less energy waste. Inflammatory markers normalize. Cortisol levels return to healthy ranges. Your entire stress response has recalibrated. Your cervical spine operates the way it did for millennia before screens. You're not fighting gravity, you're cooperating with it. Your head weighs 10 to 12 pounds again, not 60. The structure moves freely, rotates without restriction. 60 days might seem like sacrifice, but you weren't giving something up. You were giving something back, the position your body was designed to hold. Your neck, that ancient bridge between thought and action, is finally free to do what it was always meant to do. Support you without suffering.